Hello, we're talking about the Venus Retrograde Cycle. We've got a retrograde happening from March 1st all the way to April 12th, 2025, and we need to go over what this means and how it's going to affect you. I'm Candace, and let's get straight into it. Hello, we're talking about the Venus Retrograde Cycle. We've got a retrograde happening from March 1st all the way to April 12th, 2025, and we need to go over what this means and how. Now, first thing that I have to tell you is that if you want to track your Venus and see where Venus was and how you can track it in your natal chart, go and subscribe to the blog with this episode. There is bonus information. It's got a downloadable sheet where you can track Venus and draw out this shape. There's a pentagram involved. That's just the shape that she makes in the sky, like a petaled rose. And you're going to be able to track the houses there and what this means for you, because it's a journey of learning and discovery that happens with each of these retrograde cycles. And that's what we're going to talk about first. So, a Venus retrograde cycle is a pretty cool thing because it is very much patterned in a way that is revealing a lot of core information about what this planet does for us and how it harmonizes with our reality. Harmonize is the key word here. Okay, so I want you to see this shape that Venus is making right here. And you're going to notice that she reaches this top point, she stops, she goes down, she curls again, and she does this dance in the sky. This is an 8-year pattern, okay? After the 8 years, she goes back to the original point that she started this drawing, and she does it all again. Now, it's pretty cool the way this happens because it goes from this retrograde is in Aries, then it draws down to Gemini where it goes direct. It's not a retrograde. It comes up, it goes over, it goes down, and it goes from retrograde, direct, retrograde, direct, retrograde, direct. So within each portion of the pattern, you're going to get 5 planets, and all of them are at some point within those 8 years either going to go retrograde and direct, both. Okay, so you're going to get a revealing time that's going to give you more information. Venus is going to stick around. She's going to be talking to you. She's going to be harmonizing a very specific portion in your chart. And then you're going to get action time where Venus is going to be working in your favor. We are marking the points where not only Venus is in retrograde, because she's in retrograde from March till April 12th, March 1st to April 12th. These key points are actually Venus, Sun, Cazimis. So Venus and the Sun are sitting right together, and they meet every 9.5 months just about, where they meet in a very specific house in your chart and in the transit chart. She meets with the Sun, goes retrograde. She meets with the Sun, goes direct. She meets with the Sun, goes retrograde. And when I say she goes direct, as in she goes to this house, she meets with the Sun, and she's retrograde. She goes to this next house, she does not go retrograde. She goes to the next house, she goes retrograde. She makes it back to the house she was originally in, and she does the opposite of what she did before, and that's how you get this pattern, okay? Now, this pattern of where these planets are in these houses, she might, as she's going through this thing, she's slowly moving in the clockwise direction. It always reminds me of, if you ever saw the Mummy, that key she used to open up the Amanatra or the Book of the Dead, I think. It kind of reminds me of that. She's unlocking something as she opens up this pattern for you, okay, in these very particular houses in your chart. And as she makes these movements, she slightly adjusts to move a tiny bit forward in each house, but she's usually hitting the same degrees for 8 years. Then she shifts a tiny bit, and then she slowly moves to a new house, potentially in your sign. Now, here's the crazy part. All of these star points won't go into all brand new houses for 1,092 years, which is like a whole new cycle of Venus. So if you think of it, 1,092 years she uses to perfect the resonance in this very short span of space, then you get a better idea of what Venus is doing for you. So you can see this pattern here. Okay, so what makes this so cool? Let's take this even further. What makes Venus so cool? Venus is in charge of love and harmony, okay? And when you think about what love and harmony is, love is the frequency of God, period. All of it comes down in love, pure white light, We filter it through our Roy G. Biv, our chakras, and then our job is to try to get it close to the light source as we can as it filters through us and we have the experience, we turn it all to light, right? But that pure frequency of love is the resonance that we are experiencing, and it's all imagine it being slowed down, and this is the highest aspect of love and the lowest aspect of love, and we're playing out this resonance, right? But that frequency of love, it has a mathematical equation, it has a pattern, it has an identity. We can see it, we can mathematically equate it, and it comes down to the Fibonacci sequence and pi. Venus makes, so every year on Earth, I think, is like 13 years on Venus. There is a combination or a pattern. So we've got, when Venus orbits the sun, its path is relative to Earth's, forms a shape resembling a 5-pointed star or pentagram. In 8 Earth years, Venus completes nearly 13 orbits. And what's important here is the 8 and the 13. The Fibonacci sequence here of consecutive Fibonacci numbers, it's got 13 minus 8 equals 5. And so it's the golden ratio equation. And she gets super close to this perfect equation before she shifts just a little bit. And I can't stop thinking about this because if you know anything about the Fibonacci sequence and you know anything about Leonardo da Vinci and you know anything about the Greeks and the Romans, everyone and all of society prior to that, right? But everyone knew about this, this spiral and the importance of the spiral in nature, and that God creates beauty, and this thought form of beauty goes out into this perfect sequential spiral of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Harmony of music. When you use this same mathematical code of pi, you get the harmonizing of the best music in the world. It has a number, it has a math, it has a color. I'm sure it's a resonance to this energy. And we have the opportunity for Venus to be going in to ensure that our blueprint or our original design or this frequency that we emote is harmonic and perfect and in resonance with our reality. When you came into this earth, you were an atom, okay? You are a cell that splits into your atoms. You're a cell that splits into cells, making perfect duplicates of yourself. Did you know that within your DNA sequence, nowhere there is this like extra spirit of yours found? They cannot find it in the sequence of numbers. They know it does not come from the physical matter, that it comes from source, okay? And that perfected light that came in through those cells when you multiplied and was formed, that perfected blueprint, okay? It came in with you. You didn't bring it. You brought it to earth. It was not, you didn't develop it. You came in with it. When you leave here, you have that same resonance. That's why death is not real, because there is this constant consciousness that is you that runs rampant through the entire experience forever and ever into eternity. And it is a perfect harmonic resonance. Venus knows that resonance, meets with the sun about that resonance. And as she forms the 5 petals in your natal chart, she clears up and harmonizes those areas, whether you're with her or against her. And it's funny because we already know the direction of the pattern because we see it throughout all of nature, as above, so below. This cosmic blueprint of beauty and the perfect God design is literally imprinted into our being, and everything in our being is constantly seeking to reach that point. And she's giving us this grand opportunity, this resonance. We are ready because Venus is an energy, an archetype of our personal expression. We are expressing out that we are ready for this transformation. And the timing is, because time is not real, it's all happening simultaneously. So whether you think you're ready or not, you are being harmonized and you are being fine-tuned. Now, have you ever actually tuned an instrument? I've successfully done this. No, I've done this unsuccessfully. But you got to stretch out the strings. You have to like clean up the keys. There's so much cleaning involved and so much fine tuning and listening and trying to get that resonance exactly as it's supposed to be. There's a lot of work involved. So currently in your life, I want you to be cleaning up. I want you to be purging. I want you to be removing things and using this energy to harmonize your environment, clean your home, see where the things that you're trying to work on in life, the most important things are always like the thing right in front of your face. It's the thing you think about and you push to the side constantly. Try to be brave and work on that. I'm talking to myself here too, because this is the time where you can really clean it up and perfect it in this area of your life. So Venus is in Aries, the I am energy. So we talk about that initial spark after birth, okay? And I love that this was with the new moon in Pisces, which is like the space you are before you come to Earth. So that this initial spark that makes you, I am Aries, with Venus there, it's perfecting again that original energy that you came in with. And I think it's making room for more of that energy to come into your avatar, your body. Okay, now I told you before that Venus makes a pattern, and she's going to be going from Aries to Capricorn to Scorpio to Leo to Gemini to Aries, okay? Each one is going to hit a degree, and it's going to obviously hit a Gene Keys, I Ching, Human Design. All of these descriptions are in the blog on the website. Some, I'm going to go over Aries, in a sense, and adjustment to feedback. That's the energy we're dealing with right now. If you want to see how this energy is going to play out over the next 8 years, get to the website. So let's go into innocence and adjustment to feedback next. This is what this energy is telling us. Okay, something cool to note. And when we talk about I Ching, remember that's coming next month, and we talk about time when it's relating to the I Ching. Our lunar eclipse, if you listened to the lunar eclipse last month, then you know it was at I Ching 6, which was 3 yangs at the top, and then it was yin, yang, yin. This is 3 yangs at the top and yin, yin, yang. So the dominant energy, the 2 yins, they were separate in the lunar eclipse. They've come together. So you actually don't have heaven over water anymore. This is the energy of heaven over thunder. Okay? So we went from heaven over water to heaven over thunder. And thunder is all about this jolt. It's all about this shock, and it's all about this turbulence, all right? Now, just like the lunar energy, this is not, these two energies don't go together well, because you've got the dominant yin at the bottom bringing it down with that all yang at the top, which is pushing forward. So we've got another conflicting energy here. And this is all about innocence. And I want to read to you from the I Ching. Innocence implies a natural harmlessness and openness and pure intentions unsullied by ulterior motives. The condition of innocence has less to do with age than with attitude. Innocence springs from a heart that remains open to joy and wonder. Innocence, when guided by a firm faith in what is just and balanced, brings supreme success. Naivete, on the other hand, proceeds blindly, unanchored by the ability to discern right from wrong, and can bring misfortune. The hallmark of innocence is a willingness to treat all creatures with compassion and respect. Those who possess a pure heart are best guided by their instincts and intuition. Thinking too much severs links with the guidance of the heart. Be wary of the course of action that requires too much cleverness. Now, this energy is brand new. We're just at the start of this energy. So it's going to be all about every innocent action can backfire if the timing is not right for progress. When there is a little hope in a situation, the best thing to do is to wait as calmly as possible. Otherwise, you run the risk of creating additional troubles for yourself and others. Okay? Really important right now is to remain calm and know that divine timing is always on your side. And sometimes it's better to wait than to act. And I think that is the key guidance from Venus right now, is to assess the information, not to act on the information just yet, and allow the field to fully play out before you make a judgment or a decision or think too cleverly. Okay? Let's go to human design and look at this. And the gate 25, the shadow is constriction. And it starts off talking about how constricted we as individuals are. And it first shows up at our breath, just not even be able to breathe without tightness. We walk around in such a state of stress that we tighten ourselves up constantly all day because we cannot physically manage the conflicting energy, just like the lunar eclipse energy from last week, that conflicting energy that has hold over us. And we have to learn to allow ourselves to unwind and release our borders and release our filters and release this barrier keeping us from engaging with our environment with a sense of innocence, that we don't deserve to be harmed, that bad things don't deserve to happen. It's just life, and that we keep our hearts open like children while existing in this world. This is also connected to the mind, and it's got a lot to do with all the ways that we close ourselves off based on our mindset, right? About everything. We create laws that we then use to keep ourselves in jail. Laws about all kinds of things. And it's just crazy to think about it. We become obsessed with materialism, the most obvious direction for the flow of constricted fear. And it holds us, we hold on to things so tightly, we don't allow them space to grow and breathe and to exist as themselves and to flourish without us micromanaging. And this comes back to, again, my conversation last week about my skincare company. I think one of the reasons that I've been getting sales, and I've still been getting sales, is also has to do with this idea that I've let it go. I surrendered. And the moment I stopped holding it like this, trying to get it to do what I want, I was shaking it, get me some money, come out. Once I let it go, it's been able to kind of meander and do its own thing. I've been holding it back. I've been deciding my work's not good enough. It's me that's keeping this flow from being able to be big and flourishing in my life. I've seen it so completely. And so now it's like, where do I let go? Where do I keep a system, but release my expectations and detach from what I expect and allow it to show itself to me? That is what we're working with here, okay? Now, if you watched the eclipse episode last week where I talked about my tragedy with my ducks, this is really like leaning on me right now, because when I saw them die, it's just like the innocence of them, and to know that they were harmed by like such a vicious animal as a raccoon, it fucking broke me down. Excuse my French. But this innocence is all about the gate of the spirit of the self. The perfection of action, and this is, human design. The perfection of action through uncontrived and spontaneous nature. The love of gate 25 flows out of fully accepting and living surrender to one's form. A gate of the higher self, its pivotal role is to turn people toward individuation. Your innocence is not designed to bring love into the world in any specific way, but rather to love without discrimination. You hold the potential and the power and empower others with the potential to love life and everything in it equally. A flower can be loved as profoundly as a human. The quality of love is often projected as cool or cold, but it is neither. The mystical potential of this love is transcendent and universal, and your spirit's innocence is always being tested. You have the capacity to meet these initiations from life like a spiritual warrior, fired up and ready to compete for your spirit, your individuality, no matter what the circumstance. Then, when the warrior or fool of gate 51, that is the other gate that's attached to the gate of shock, prods you to leap into the void, and when you meet life's initiating challenges, you will be able to land on your feet and deepen your innocence into a wisdom that can empower others on their own journey. You may emerge a bit wounded from such initiations, but your ultimate triumph and survival enriches your spirit and the spirit of those around you. The result is that you are alive and the wonder, the love of being. shock can bring such trauma and such despair. But when you go into that void and instead of fighting it, you sit with that energy, you bring up so much beauty. That's what this is about. And you're alive. And trust me, to see this week, this last week, this innocent animal going from being this chipper, joyous creature to not being on this earth plane anymore, and feeling her energy everywhere and knowing her energy enough to know that it's her, to have that connection with an animal felt very precious to me. To be able to know her personality outside of this idea that she was lesser than a human or any other creature, and to see her innocence and to know her as a creature, it feels like if every creature on the planet, knowing how loved they were, how much healing, if every creature on the planet left, knowing already how loved they were, how much healing is involved in that, right? And that's what I think about when I think about this energy. Going through these deep, intense initiations and staying innocent, not leaving and becoming cold-hearted and closing your heart, or overly falling to the wayside when bad things happen, and to be able to remain strong and allow life to carry on, it takes so much strength, and we are being conditioned right now in this area of our life. Now, this is going to show up in two ways. You either become cold and repressed, you allow these battle wounds to sit on your shoulders, on your head, in front of your forehead, and you walk around with these scars, wanting people to feel bad about you and to victimize you and to showing your disempowerment, and you become a big barrier keeping people out so that you don't get hurt or so that life can't happen to you. Or you become completely ignorant and you walk around acting like nothing can happen to you. You walk around it's like this ignorant of not being able to face your own fears or the things that make you uncomfortable. You've got to be able to go to the uncomfortable place. This really stems from the idea that we're in a body. This is constricting. We don't get to be our full forms. So you've got to learn to work with what you have. And the gift of this is acceptance. You've got to accept the love and the world and the things as they are right now. Even if it's scary, even if it's terrifying, even if you don't know where to go, because this is where all the keys are. This is where all the answers lie, okay? And it's about letting go and just allowing things to unfold before you already determine what their future outcome is going to be based on your fears and your traumas. When you do this, you get to a place of universal love where the entire influx, you can take in every single resonance here and feel the love from God, because God is all of it. The matter, the light, and the darkness, the entire thing. And your job is to pluck the light from it. When you get to such a state of universal love, everything becomes a reason for love to exist in this plane and for you to live comfortably within that love. Until then, we kind of flip and flounder and look for places to put up boundaries instead of places to look for acceptance. You come from source. You are love. You are the light in all of the darkness. You are the candle flame. You are the illumination. Your traumas and your wounds, my traumas and my wounds, serve to allow us to distill and go into that darkness just to pull up more light, bringing in more to us, not less to us. So as much as I don't know what tragedies or shocks you've experienced in these last 2 weeks, but how much love can you pull out of them? How much innocence of yourself, knowing you are divinely innocent, can you find in this experience? And it goes back to that I am Aries energy. I am the light of the world. Okay, that is Course in Miracles, one of the lessons. It's one of my favorite lessons. I am the light of the world. Okay. Now, this is crazy because last week I forgot to mention this. I also got to my last lesson in A Course in Miracles. And so it was like this great culmination where I feel like all of these things ended and all of these things are beginning. And I don't know exactly where it's going, but I've just got to surrender to the process. I can no longer pretend to know, right? I've just got to live in it and exist in it and do my best every single day. And that is But it's got to come from this place of knowing that I am divinely going guided, that the timing is working out for me, that I can do all things, that I am innocent. And if you can go forward with this innocence and this joy and this excitement in life, I think you have a better outcome than if you go with despair, right? I'm going to leave you with this last point. This is something that I realized the other day that I wanted to talk about when it comes to manifesting. So I was on Instagram scrolling and I saw this drawing board that I want to get. It's like an electronic drawing pad, okay? And I want the expensive one, of course. And I've been fawning over this thing. I'm just obsessed with it. And the other day I saw it come up as like my Instagram ad, and I recognized how excited I was. And I thought to myself, this excitement happened naturally with this board. I didn't necessarily make myself excited about this. I was excited when I saw this. Usually I'm thinking, oh, I'm excited. How can I figure out how to get this? Okay. Or, oh, I'm excited about this. I really want this thing, right? Now I would lust over it. But instead I thought to myself, that excitement was a natural resonance that told my body that this thing is coming to me, that this thing aligns with me, and it's given me the hint. So instead of going towards anticipation or agitation or being depressed that I couldn't get it right now, I went towards excitement for something that I know I'm going to be able to fulfill when the timing is right, and it's exciting to me now. So in the meantime, I'm doing all of my artwork on paper. I want to do more digital work. I've just been drawing more because I've been so excited about something new. And I think that's the point of that energy. So think about the next time something really gives you an uptick in vibration when you see it or when you notice it, and allow it to be a sign for you instead of you thinking the energy is coming through you and it's got to do with your mindset. It might be a natural resonance that's forming. And you can only really understand it from that level when you release your expectations and your detachment on defining that energy instead of experiencing it. But playing around with all the different sensations when you think about something you want. And the height of the expression in your body will tell you how close it is to you because it's getting closer in the resonance field. So when you feel a giant uptick of excitement, you're a magnet. You know that energy is closer to you. And if you feel a little bit of excitement, you know it's a little further away from you. So use that as a tip. Now, when you start tracking your Venus from your birth, which is what I'm going to teach you how to do when you sign up for the blog, if you subscribe to the blog, you are going to start seeing these patterns, this is a major focal point in your life to bring in resonance. And this is your blueprint for this resonant pattern that is going to align you with your mission. And it is a serving information. So the first cycle, the first retrograde is where you start taking it into account. And from that pattern point, these points are going to be hitting over and over in your life in 8-year cycles, making adjustments, in 4-year cycles going from retrograde to direct or vice versa. And it's a really good way, again, to keep up with the patterns of how your blueprint is unfolding. All of this energy is happening with the moon. You might as well track this as well. So go ahead and subscribe to track that. One more thing, very exciting. How do you feel about an early fall retreat where you have a chef making sure that all your meals are local and organic and made deliciously? You're away for 3 days learning about your astrology, your human design, and your gene keys. You leave with your own book about who you are. You manifest and help compile this book of who you are while learning about astrology, human design, and I Ching. Maybe there's a sprinter van that takes us to a dark night park and we can connect with the stars. This is what I'm putting together. I'm putting together my first astrology retreat, and I'm looking to see, I need 8 women who would like to join me. The cap I can put on this is 10. It is like the most fun adult playground in Northern Michigan. If you're in the Midwest, even if you're in the Northeast, I don't care where you are. If you want to come on this retreat, it's going to be a Wednesday, a Thursday, or Friday. So you still got the whole weekend to get your life together back at home. You go to work Monday, Tuesday, you go on the trip Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you come back home and you decompress from such a fabulous a couple of days that we're going to have together. It's affordable. It's all inclusive, so it includes all 3 days of your stay, all of your meals, lunches, snacks. I'm a snacker, and workshops with me in this beautiful setting, surrounded by nature. If you are interested, check out the link in the bio and sign up for the newsletter that's going to be talking more about that as I gear up for this in September. Other than that, this is all I have for you today. I am Candace with Of Course is Miracles, A Course in Miracles. Thank you so much for listening. Enjoy the Venus retrograde. Pull from it what you can. Seek comfort as you are being naturally realigned. Okay? Thank you. Love you. Goodbye.